So I have some good news and some bad news, but I'm going to start off with the bad news so that we can leave off with the good news. And Mike Honey states, grim news from the U.S. where the latest wastewater data reveals a huge wave of COVID, second highest ever with no peak in sight. Follows similar patterns seen elsewhere, so not too surprising. In Australia and other places with poor lagging data are probably on a similar trajectory. It's summer there. And Jay Wallen states, in absence of biobot data this week, the NWSS CDC wastewater data will be used. The recent increase puts us in the second highest levels, only behind December 2021. Here we see that we are at 1,590,000 new infections per day. So 1 in every 210 people became infected today alone, and about 1 in every 21 people are currently infected. Here's a bit of a close-up so that you can appreciate the levels. Here's the CDC's influenza tracking. But let's hear what the front line has to say. Dr. David Christopher says it is a total plague ward shit show in most of the emergency departments right now. Don't believe me? Then ask anyone you know who works in one. If they're being honest, willing to talk, and aren't too exhausted, you'll likely hear some horror stories. It hasn't been this bad since December of 2021. Don't you worry, I do have a little bit of good news. Also, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this gentleman. Here is the good news here. Dr. Kevin Bass, who is just a terrible person, honestly. He ended up, in retrospect, saying that he doesn't support the lockdowns, and he continues to say that masking isn't effective. While in this post, he discusses how the people who promoted mask mandates would have killed George Washington, or an introduction to the principles of evidence-based medicine, because they did bloodletting on George Washington. He's comparing that to masking. So just anti-science. Then reposts things like this gem, that there's absolutely no evidence that rest will reduce the incidence of long COVID. Please, MDs of Twitter, stop spreading misinformation, which we know is not good medical advice based off what we have seen in recent journal articles, where we have found out that there is legitimate muscle damage in post-exertional malaise in long COVID. So, yeah. So what is the good news, you might be asking? Well, this. The FAFO poster boy finds out. In the words of Kevin Bass, I have been dismissed from medical school. I have submitted a 20,000-word appeal addressing just the procedural problems in the final hearing alone. My appeal was a formality. I do not believe that anything I wrote in it, no matter how compelling or accurate, will make any difference. Thus, I do not expect a favorable decision. I will provide a full account in the coming months. No doubt it'll be a bestseller. But you gotta start that grift off right. So FAFO Friday. I love this for him.